Hi, I'm Carcino.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Man, Dame Dash is crazy. I'm telling you, man, Dame Dash has lost his marbles. But he's like a guy who's a genius who became just like his bipolar condition has really settled in. And it starts to he becomes a real bitter old man. And all the past aggressions and everything in his life, he just ends up taking out on everybody else. And it blocks him. Because it's like, dude, you actually make sense a lot. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to take this route. You're good enough without it. Like, what are you doing? He's the type that would blow $100 million deal because he don't like this dude's shirt. You know, it's like some as crazy as that. It's like, man, I don't trust his shirt. What? Shirt. This is all wrong. You know, you coming in here, you wearing a shirt like that. You look ridiculous. You make me. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for you. I'm embarrassed that I'm in this room. Can't be photographed with you when you wearing a shirt like that. You know, he would insult the person that's giving him the money. That's the kind of things you would have to deal with dealing with somebody like Dame. You know, Dame is somebody who feel like he was wronged in the industry, so now he's lashing out at the industry, and everybody else is all in the butt of the joke. Like, he's the butt of all jokes, and he's been the butt of all jokes for years. So now there is no business to actually discuss. Now, Dame Dash do things, and where he started to go off the rails is when he started smoking weed. When he started becoming a full-fledged pothead, that's when things started to go off the rails. Dame Dash, here's the thing. When Dame was starting to come out, right, and he did the whole interview on Breakfast Club when he was talking about, you know, do you own this company? No, you at Hot 97. All that stuff he was talking, that boss talk, right? And you're a chatty patty. And he came out with chatty patty. I'm going to let y'all know what was going on at the time. So when he was talking chatty patty and all this stuff, dude was like, dude, this guy's a genius. The chatty patty, all that stuff, culture vulture. When he had that, he did not patent any of it. And my boy was like, we should patent that, chatty patty. He said, somebody else got culture vulture right now. He said, we should get chatty patty, patent it, and then we should make dolls. And he was like, we can make it, and then we could pitch this to anything. We could put the chatty patty doll. I'm like, dude, somebody probably already owned that. It's close to a trademark. You got to look into all that. I'm like, I don't know about that. And he was like, can you get me in contact with Dame Dash? Because I was saying that. I'm like, dude, if we go ahead and get Chatty Patty and put out Chatty Patty dolls, you're going to have a conflict with this Dame Dash dude, and it's going to be a problem. So I was saying in a video, I said, Dame, you should go do the Chatty Patty doll. And I said that on the video, so dude was gonna contact him, then it'll make sense. Dude contacted him and was like, man, Dame Dash, I went to go try to say, hey, man, we should do this, chatty patty thing. He was like, yeah, you know, I can get some good weed at. All he cared about was smoking weed. And he was like, all this dude cared about was smoking weed. It's like he heard nothing I was saying. So that just came and went. The whole idea came and went. Then a couple of years later, he was like, you know what? I think I should have patented Chatty Patty. Dame is stuck in his ways, man. And it's a shame because he was great when he was in his lane, when he was in his avenue doing the things that he was doing. He was good. Like, he still made great business decisions. You know, he knows a lot about business. People think he's crazy, but he's not. He's just, you got to deal with his idiocracies, which is his bipolar behavior. And he got to smoke to keep himself calm. And the older he gets, the worse it gets. This is why people can understand all of the things that he was going through. Like, why is he so angry and bitter and mad? You know, Dame, when he was a child, like when he was young, he lost his mom, you know? And his dad basically left his whole family, left him to go live, him and his brother, and left him to go live with his mistress and have another kid with her. And then when the mom died, you know, Dame was going over there to like, all right, do you want your son? And he was like, nah, I don't want him. So his own father rejected him, like sent him to a group home, like, go and stay somewhere else. I don't even want y'all. So that bitterness and rejection from his own father, that sets into the stone, that sets into his heart. And that puts things into motions that other people couldn't even foresee. You know what I'm saying? Like, that makes things way worse than what they appear to be now. Because now, first you're thinking, oh, this is just some, you know, whatever. But then you start to see it's really bigger than what you thought it was. He has to smoke to stay calm. If Dame Dash, he's at the point now where his bipolar disorder now, he don't have too much governors over it like he used to. And he really didn't have it then because he had the power. Nobody would even say anything to him. Like, he would talk crazy to anybody, no matter what the position was. But to have that kind of loss and always be in a fighting standpoint, it comes from the pain of the rejections. So now if people reject him, he's bitter and mad. He goes right to anger. He thinks everybody's against him. His father's rejection was enough. So he grew up in a boarding school, you know, like he learned business from that boarding school, and the little business that he knew was enough. Because he was a street dude, you know, he made a couple of runs doing what he was doing, but he was smart about everything he did. You didn't see Dame going to jail. You didn't see Dame doing a whole bunch of stupid stuff. Dame was knowing, like, look, if we're going to do something illegal, I'm not trying to get caught. If I'm flashy, it's going to be a reason behind my flash. I got to get my street money, legal money, fast. Now, Lance Rivera is another story of egos. Has always had an ego. He had an ego against Puff. He had an ego against Jay. He had an ego against anybody he felt was meddling and what he had going on. He was the visionary. Nothing could get past him. It's hard to heal that wound, especially when people pass over and that's done. You can't go back to those moments. Those moments are gone forever now. So when you start seeing them move to a whole different category, then you start seeing people, that's supposed to be there for you, where things are supposed to materialize and it don't. And you start seeing these things go off the rails. All you have is a whole list of problems that doesn't usually appear to be there. Take, for instance, they had Reasonable Doubt, right? And you had Dame Dash out there trying to make a name for himself off the Reasonable Doubt. And this is the Haven was trying to tell Dame is like, you don't understand that album because those words that he's speaking, you weren't there for. You wasn't in Trenton with Jay. You weren't hustling with him. You barely knew Jay then. Like, you came around Jay in like 93, 94. So it's like when Jay was doing this rap thing and you was trying to take him to record labels and all this, and they was hustling, doing their thing out in Trenton, you weren't there with those dudes. So you don't know anything that's on Reasonable Doubt. Dame acting like, oh man, like him and Big was cool and he did everything. Dame was the one over there really didn't want Jay-Z to be with Biggie. He didn't want that at all because he's thinking Puffy finna steal my artist. That was his whole main thing. He was panicking when they wanted to get on the record and he was finna get Biggie on the record. We don't need him. No, we don't need him. They know you finna be the hottest thing in the world. Now they want a piece of it. Nah, F them. And it was like, no, Biggie would like the record. He want to get on the record. Puff didn't want Biggie to do the record. Puff didn't want Biggie on the record. Dame Dash didn't want Biggie on the record. Big wanted to be on the record because he heard the beat and said, oh, that's that Ohio Players. Like, Biggie listened to old music in his house, like old school music, Jamaican music his mom would play. So he knew all these records. So when he heard that, he wanted to get on that. He heard that beat and was like, oh man, I got to get on this. So Big wanted to get on the song. Jay was like, for real? You want to get on the song? Yeah, I want to get on that. He was like, all right, well, he told Dame was, I ain't paying him. So that was, I ain't paying him no money. So you let him know he get on the record, but I ain't paying him no money. Biggie did it for free. Big was like, look, I want to be on the record. And Puff was like, look, man, you can't be doing no business deals, man. That's why. No, you can't be doing that. You messing up money now. You doing songs for free. How I'm supposed to charge the record labels and stuff? Nah, we can't be doing no. That's bad business, Big. That's bad business. So yeah, Puff was not it. He wasn't feeling it either. Puff was like, man, I was half asleep making that video. It was like I was half asleep dreaming and doing that video last night. That's how crazy that was. And we still got it done somehow. I was eating chicken, half asleep, still talking about it, and know it like the back of my head. That's how crazy it is. Now, here's the situation. with Dame, and shouts out to Art of Dialogue too. Let me show you a little some of this.
Someone saying I'm lying and I'm not. That don't mean I'm gonna change my story. But I see a lot of these niggas y'all worship change their stories often, all the time. Like, why? I don't understand how you could believe people that have already lied. If someone lies to me once, I don't believe them again. Period. I don't care what they do. You a liar. See, to me, like rap beef wasn't real. Pause. Like, and if it did get real, I'd be like, this is rapping. Like, we on TV. There is no beef you can have in front of pause a camera. You can't do nothing illegal to anybody. It's just stupid to pretend you can. It's just dumb. Acting tough in front of a camera means you know you're not doing nothing. Unless you're just like, yo, I'm gonna just go to jail. Like, who wants to go to jail?
Now, that man just said that, and in the same sentence, this man has also said, I've gotten in like 20, 30 fights. I did all the fighting at Rockefeller. I was always in the fights. I swear to God, Dame just said that. Man, it's a lot of this foo-foo stuff going on, dog. A lot of this stuff is crazy. Now, for instance, let's take this Dame Dash situation, right? Dame Dash went into what we call, where did he go? God damn. I lost my train of thought. Dame Dash had a chance because Biggie and Jay got real cool after making the song. And then they put it on like a mix, like they played it on I don't know if it was Hot 97, Power 105, whoever had it. And it was like, oh, this Brooklyn's finest song, man, it's a hit. And they was playing that to like the street record, and it was getting everybody hot. Jay-Z's coming, he finna be the next big thing. So now Pac is hearing about this dude. He's watching, and he was like, oh, this is the new dude, the mobster. Jay-Z, man, yeah, he like this big drug dealer in New York. He the king of New York. And Pac is like, Jay-Z? I ain't never heard of no Jay-Z. So Pac was like, oh, okay, I think, he remembered Rich Porter, AZ. So he thinking AZ is Jay-Z. He was thinking that was him. But he was like, oh, he rapping now? Like, he remembers the story, but he's seeing Jay-Z and was like, that's not the guy, is it? He's like, no, that's not him. And he's looking, and he was like, AZ, we was rapping with Nas. It's not him. They said, no, this is Jay-Z. It's a whole different guy. He's like, oh. So Pac was thinking AZ was the Rich Porter, AZ, the hustler from out there. So that's what he was thinking who AZ was. The guy who was rapping with Nas. So the whole time, Pac never knew AZ was not that guy. He was the different AZ. Just a whole different dude. So he thought AZ was rapping with Nas, was the big street drug dealing dude. So he thought Nas was having ties with them. And then when he saw Jay-Z, he thought that was AZ guy. So when he saw him, he was like, that ain't him. That guy rap, oh, that ain't him. So just that little mix-up made him like go like, who is this Jay-Z? So dude from Smith and Wesson that was with Duck Down, they was telling him about Jay-Z. And they was like, Jay-Z, oh yeah, that's the dude that be rapping, man. He used to rap like the Foochnickens and Daz Effects. And they was like, yeah, he from Brooklyn, man. He be spitting, he been with Kane, Big Daddy Kane. So Kane talked to him, told Pac, like, yeah, that was be my young guy, man. He was under me. He was like, nah, he ain't no drug dealer like that. you know, but you know, it's the rap game. It's a Hawaiian Sophie. Hawaiian Sophie. Pac got the record for Hawaiian Sophie. He wanted to listen to it. He's listening to the flow. I want to listen to this dude. He's supposed to be the best rapper in the world or something. Like he was listening to this, like, let me rest. He's like, how you gonna be the Hawaiian Sophie and now you this tough ass mobster? So he just like, this dude is a phony. And he was like, oh, he just trying to play gangster in New York. And Biggie falling for it. But he was like, I can't let that guy live. I can't let this guy ride. I got to destroy him early. Because then they'll be saying this Jay-Z dude is better than me. So I'm going to crush him just for being, his only crime was being associated with Biggie. So when Reasonable Doubt album came out, Pac got it. He was one of the first people to get that out. Once he got the Reasonable Doubt album, all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose. Pac sat there and listened to everything, all the noise going on around him. Pac was listening like this. He told the press, he's like, hey, put that on the speakers, man. Take that back. I want to hear what he said. And he was like, Pac is listening like, okay. And then he's listening to the part when, you know, the Brooklyn's for all and all that. And they played the part with him and Jay-Z. And that did it. And this was August. This is like August of 96, around that time, I think. August of 96, I believe. And he played that Brooklyn's Finest with Biggie. Because Pocket started from the beginning and wanted to listen to it. Then when it got to like 22 twos and ones, he said, too much West Coast dick licking. He was like, oh, he's like, oh, that's a shot. He's sending shots? All right. He was like, all right, Jay-Z. Jay-Z sending shots. You see, I told you these dudes be quietly hating the West Coast. Then they come out here and be like, West Coast this. He was trying to get everybody revved up in a hate mode for Jay-Z. He's like, oh, he taking shots now? So Dame Dash and them, they had to come out there and do a show. So they was coming out there to do performance and everything. And they had everything laid out for them. Like, because they was out there early and Dame felt that was I think after Pac died, because Pac died shortly after, like a few weeks. He was shot up, and then about another month he was gone. So it was 7 days in the hospital, all that, and then he was gone. So yeah, so Jay was like, okay, then he made this song after Pac was gone, and everybody thought that was weak. So, and what happened is he did it when Pac was alive, but it was like kind of goofy, that Dead or Alive. And then he did a remix and changed the lyrics. And like, hey, he took shots, I took shots. Like he took shots at me, I took shots back. But he didn't know anything until the Machiavelli mixtape started coming out, because he really wasn't going at Jay. Like Suge and them, they deleted all that Jay-Z stuff off the Hit 'Em Up, because he was dissing Jay-Z on Hit 'Em Up. People didn't even know that. He was taking shots at Jay early. like when Hit 'Em Up was coming out, and when they was making that, Jay-Z, his association with him was like, okay, that Dead Presidents video, he was getting it. Dame Dash made the decision, and this is why I'm saying for Dame, and y'all gotta understand how Dame operates. Dame at that time knew what was what. Dame said, this feel funny. When they were out there and they was talking about doing the shows, and this was after Pac died, they were like, I think they were out there for something, and they were like an award show. And they didn't go to the awards. Like they were supposed to be there for the awards, and then the people was trying to book them to like do a show and doing this, and like, but it was like a Suge Knight setup, dog. Suge was like locked up or going to trial or something at that time. And I remember they was in town for the the Soul Train Awards. And I think, no, Pac was alive then. No, I take that back. Pac wasn't alive. It was the Soul Train Awards, the one Big went to, and he died like that week. Like he died like right after the awards, the next day. Big was they were there that week and they were trying to book Jay-Z to do something. Like they gonna book Jay at this thing, and he was out there chilling in LA with Big them, and they left. Dame and all them say, "No, man, this feel funny." You know what I'm saying? Like it was gonna be a setup. And Suge is locked up at the time. But it felt like Suge still had his thumbprint or handprint on what was happening. Like it was a setup. Like if Jay would have did that show, Jay would have probably been robbed or something. Something bad was gonna happen to them while they were there. You know what I'm saying? So they looked at him like he was bad boy. Because when Jay was there, they kept saying bad boy killers. Like it was just people, West Coast dudes, bad boy killers. And Dame was pissed because they kept saying bad boy. And he was the whole time was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. You doing this with Big, now you bad boy. They don't say Rockefeller, they say bad boy. Because you hanging around these dudes. But Jay was trying to separate himself from Dame since Reasonable Doubt. He did not want to work with Dame Dash at all. From the very beginning, from Reasonable Doubt, he was trying to leave Dame his whole career. Dame could not get him a record deal, and they started to start a record label together and do it themselves. Jay, they had different plans from day one. Dame Dash is like, let's build this to an empire. F y'all. Y'all ain't want to sign us. Y'all ain't want to believe in us. F us. F y'all. We going to be powerful. We going to buy y'all out. That's what his thing was. Let's build this up. And this is the new. Right. That's the new thing. Now, what happened after that? Quite simple. People came into play and it got crazy. It got crazy. People start getting in each other's ear because Jay was pulling away from Dame. Dame had no control over Jay. Dame was all about where's the money. Like, you don't need Puff. You don't need this Big and all that. You don't need that. We're going to play the game because they promoting us. Well, we don't need them. Dame was all about that. Then when Big died, and I think Jay called Dame and told him Big got shot. Then he called back and said Big died. After they came back from Cali, from hanging with Big. Jay wasn't sad at all. Like Jay didn't, it was no tears that came out of Jay's eyes when he said it. And Dame could tell you this in a testament when they had their meeting, when they met up. Like, damn. Like, they was more like, can you believe it? Big gone. And they was like, man. Somebody was like, man, that's messed up. This whole game, man. They done screwed everything up. He was like, nah, New York gonna need a king. Remember, at this time, Jay was already working on Volume 1. Volume 1 was already coming out and was in works. And he had Puff producers, the hitmen, working for him. And Puffy got paid for all of it. The hitman was a created name by Diddy that he incorporated. So he gets paid off that when it says the hitman. And then they make all the beats. It was just like Master P with Beats to the Pound. Kev and all those guys is making the beats, but it's called Beats to the Pound. He owns that imprint, so he's getting paid off of it. Yeah, he was doing the commission album with Biggie and was like rapping under the name Iceberg Slim. And that was going to be his name. And Dame was not filling the commission out. He was like, what you doing? He was like, no, I'm going to do Jay-Z records. And then I'm going to do this over here with this commission. We all got like mob names. And this is what was pissing off. This is what people were pissing off, like Wu-Tang them. They were really pissed because now everybody wants to change their names. They were pissed at Biggie for that. Now he Frank White. Now it's Iceberg Slim. Now everybody want to change their name up. Now everybody want to have 3 and 4 names. We do something and then everybody want to get an extra name. Like, dog, that's fly. They got another alias. Iron Man is Tony Stark. You know, I was like, RZA, they got the Resurrector. They got all kind of names for each one. Lex Diamonds is Raekwon. It's like, dude, Golden Arms, everybody had their own alias to their alias. It was like, wow, that's crazy. Method Man was Johnny Blaze. So everybody bit that from Wu-Tang. So Diddy started biting it. Now Puff Daddy is Diddy. And man, they were so pissed off. You talking about pissed? The Wu-Tang was pissed. Jay-Z is now Iceberg Slim. It was like, man, what are you doing? Right. He was Raleigh Fingers. Master Killer was Noodles. Right. So they became essential to the trendsetters, right? And people stealing the way that RZA was making tracks. So he was not happy about this at all. So Wu-Tang's mad. They mad at this whole commission album, everything. So they was gonna have a whole beef with the Wu-Tang over this situation right here. And Jay got confronted by Ghostface. And this was when the whole thing blew up. You know, they blew over because Big died. Once Biggie died, all of that just faded away because you can't be seen. All that Raekwon beef with Biggie and all that with him and Ghost, that was over. You know, because Big ain't here no more. But that was going to be a war in New York with Jay and Big going at it with Ray and Ghost and Wu-Tang. And Nas is going to be in the middle. And he was going to have to pick a side. And it was going to be with the Wu them. Him and Big already wasn't speaking, so they was gonna have a battle for New York. It was crazy. And Big was letting it be known on that kick in the door. Ain't no relinquishing the title at all. This goes out for those that choose to use disrespectful views on the King of NY. Help that. Why try? Throw bleach in your eye. Now you're brailing it. Slice that white stuff. You're scaling it. Yeah. Man, that was funny. He threw that bleach in Raekwon's face at the club when they got into it. Go in the club, beef with white, throwing bleach out, trying to throw it in my eyesight like what the fuck is on your mind? He didn't diss Jay-Z on Kicking the Door. That's some people make up so much because they wanted that. He was not dissing Jay-Z on Kicking the Door. That's uncreative. Is kicking some bullshit. Tried to say, oh, he dissed Big on the first thing on the Little Kim remix. I was like, first of all, Big it was Big's idea to put Jay-Z on that record with Lil' Kim on her first album and help her with the track because she had to remove her verse. Puff was like, nah, we got to take that verse off because she was dissing Tupac on that verse. So they had to take that verse off, and they took off Biggie verse that he did with the Junior Mafia on the song at the end. Yeah, they cut Big's verse off of that. Because when he come in over there, because my boss is an outlaw. That beat was hard. Big was about to tear that beat to pieces. Like he wrote about the whole Lil' Kim album. Him, Mace, I think they wrote a lot of that album. No, Jay just wanted to blow up. Like I said, Dame wanted Rockefeller to be a tandem. Jay wanted to use Rockefeller just so he could blow up. So hopefully Def Jam or somebody would come buy him out so he could be on another label. He did not want to be partnered with Dame Dash. He did not want to be partnered with Dame. He wanted out from day one because there was no money at Rockefeller. They wasn't bringing no money in. Reasonable Doubt did not bring any money in. They paid for all those St. Thomas trips. That was hustling. They wasn't making no money at Rockefeller. That's why they had to do a deal with Def Jam. Def Jam came in for 50%, 25% went to Polygram. So when Volume 1 came out, they released only one Jay-Z album because they've been spending too much money with distribution. So Reasonable Doubt is the only album they really distributed on their own.
Like it's all bullshit. So I never looked at it as real. It was like the WWE or You know, it's like battle rap. Them niggas be beefing with each other and they give each other pounds after. They be talking about each other's mothers. Battle rap, they talk about each other's mothers.
But see, battle rappers are broke. You see, when you a rapper and you got a fan base, you got this affects everything. The sponsorship deals, money. So yeah, they take it real personal. Now, because now you messing with their livelihood. Back then, you diss a rapper and you could stop his whole bag. Look at what happened with Prodigy. They put Prodigy P on the screen, and then because he had a baby picture, a picture of him as a kid and dancing in New York, that means Prodigy is soft now. Oh, he weak. He ain't nothing. Mobb Deep sales dropped the very next album. They lost everything off that. You was a ballerina, and he was not in a ballerina costume. But Jay said he was in it. And he was like, dude, we got the pictures. We seen you. Oh, no, that's Prodigy. No. Dame Dash had $600,000 left when they did that deal with Volume 1 with Def Jam. He thought it was a bad idea to sign with. They was big. Biggs wanted to do it. Jay wanted to do it. Dame did not want to do it. He didn't want to take the deal with Def Jam. He felt they could have got a better deal with, I believe, not Epic Records, but I want to say Capitol. It might have been Capitol or another record label. But he was like, we can get a better deal. He was like, man, it's Def Jam. You know what I'm saying? Def Jam is doing this. They ready to come up. You know, Def Jam is doing that. We got Kevin Liles and Leor got involved. And this is when Leor became part of their life. Because mostly Leor wasn't really around. It was always Kevin Liles. Kev was the one that did all the running around for them and getting abused by Dame and had to deal with Dame Dash craziness. But he was there to help Jay and just facilitate everything. Leor wasn't really connected. So when Volume 1 came, and they were only really interested because Puff needed somebody quick, and Mace was it. So Mace's album finna come out. But, you know, Mace just had a #1 record when Big was alive. People keep forgetting that. I'm like, Mace had a #1 record. Mace had the #1 record. So when Mace had a #1 record with Puff, and they was doing their things on the street that can't nobody hold me down. And I got to keep on moving. Puff was, Dame was like, this is the weakest shit I've ever heard. This shit came out Sugar Hill Gang. This is like 20 years old. Why everybody acting like this is the greatest song ever? Dame can understand how this song was like #1 and on radio stations is playing it. He's like, this song is garbage. Our stuff is way better than this. He's like, they just pay money to all this to get all the spins. That's all it is. The song is terrible. And he's like, now you got Biggie in the music video, and this song is terrible. He was just losing it. So Dame was always been off the rails. He hated that record. He was like, Jay, you ain't getting on that record. I don't care what they say. You will never be on a record like that. I would never prove that. And Jay looked like, man, if they ask me to get on that record, I'm getting on that record. You ain't gonna have no choice. Like, he really was like, really? Shoot, if they ask me to get on a record that's hot and getting that spins, I'm gonna be on that record. What do you mean? So that minds were different. They had different philosophies on business. And when you and partners and y'all not on the same track at all on anything, this is when the problems come in. Yes, that's when the album came out, 97. And they dropped on the same day. Mace and Jay-Z album came out together. Because everybody was like, oh, Mace is going to come out. Because right after Big died, Biggie album came out like right before the funeral. Ready to Die was on the streets. Because Scarface had just dropped. I'll never forget it. Scarface had just dropped. So the Scarface album came out. We all went and got Scarface album. And we was in there having a conversation about Jay. We was like, it was like, so what you think Jay album finna do? I mean, Big album finna do? You think it's gonna outsell Pac 5 million? I was like, shoot, man, I don't know if I'm like, he had to die for something like that to happen. This is right, and then Biggie died that night. I said he'll have to die to do some 5 million. Shoot, he probably had to die where he can get to 5. He might sell 2, 3 million, but 5? Nah, man, he probably had to die for something like that. Biggie died that night. I just picked up Scarface album. Scarface album wasn't finna hit the streets until Scarface album was gonna hit the streets on Tuesday. I mean, it officially came out that Tuesday. We had it that Friday. So that Saturday night, or I think it was Saturday night or Friday night, Big died tonight. You know, he got shot, he ended up dying. So that was in March, of course. And the very next week, Biggie album's coming out. So by the next week, that next Friday, I had Ready to Die. So because when the box come in, I get it when the box arrive. You know, they sell it to me, you know, mom and pop shops, you know, that's how it used to work. So you want it off the shelves before it hit the shelf. You know when the box arrive. I know when the mail guy come there. I know when the boxes get there. As soon as they open that box up, the dude who worked there, he got his CD. I got mine. We get ours back to back. So I got everybody's. That's how I got Reasonable Doubt. And it was just sitting there. Nobody was even buying Jay-Z because they ain't know nothing about him really. So now everything's finna change in a dynamic because now Big is gone. Puff came out immediately with a maxi EP with Sting, Every Breath You Take, and without getting any permission to use the record, they just put it out. And Clive told him, he said, Sean, you made a mistake. This is Sting and the Police song, you know, like they finna really, he was like, well, we could just pay him. And he was like, you ain't gonna want to pay with it. He was like, this song is making them hot again. They got the song. So they worked it out. And Clive Davis negotiated the deal to give him some money off of the record or whatever. Now they would just take the whole record. But back then he made a deal. They put Sting on stage. So he got a chance to sing it live when he did the performance because it was a dedication song to somebody that died. And they did a whole manipulation of Sting so they could use the song and got Faith Evans singing on the record. And they made so much money. That one record sold like 5 million copies. And they was like, this is dedicated to Big and the family and the kids. So Puff did the EP to cover everything there. but it built up his album, and you got Mace's album coming. So now you got a Hell Up in Harlem coming. Then Mace is coming after that. So Puff album come out and it's got Victory on it. They took the song that was going to be on the commission and they moved that to the album, the song with Jay-Z. So now Jay-Z's on the album. And Puff got his people doing all of the volume 1. Jay had all these songs done by other people. And that ended up being The Streets Is Watching. Like some of them was on Streets Is Watching. And they basically, Dame Dash was right. He said, you want Puffy to do your whole album? All right. But he's just like, dude, you got Def Jam. And this is the only reason Def Jam was even interested, because Biggie died. And they said, well, he was close to this Jay-Z guy. And Jay-Z been doing his thing, and we had a chance to sign him. And now he's got this Mickey Mouse label he's on. Let's just buy it for 50%. Let's take 50% of it, partner with him. But it really wasn't a partnership. It was really a part acquisition, because Rockefeller was never going to have enough money to deal with Def Jam. They backed by Polygram now. So they the Def Jam Island Group. And at any given time, their 50% could get bought out if they feel like they're not living up to the obligations of the deal. So right away, it's like a 7-album deal. Like probably I think it's like 9 or 10 albums. To be real, I think it was like a 9-10 album deal with Rockefeller. So they was 10 albums they needed to get out of the deal. So right away, they come out with volume 1, and that didn't do nothing to the numbers they thought it was gonna do. They was shipping it platinum, so they're gonna ship 1 million copies, because they was like, all right, this dude finna blow up. Everybody want to hear what Jay's gonna be like, and right now, everybody was in the party mode, club mode. Jay don't have club records. He had Sunshine. That was garbage. That was supposed to be the club record. It wasn't. It was terrible. So Puff was like, it don't matter if your album is garbage. You're going to sell because we're going to put you on the tour. So Al Heyman, who with Floyd Mayweather, Al Heyman, that guy, he put money up for the tour, and what was supposed to be Biggie's tour now became the Puffy Bad Boy tour with Little Kim, Foxy Brown. That's when Little Kim and Foxy fell out, and it never got back cool. But those two fell out, and then you had Puff, Jay-Z, and they were doing the whole cities, going around all the cities. And they would go to Anaheim. That was the only close to Cali they would get to, was like Anaheim. They were doing no West Coast, nothing. And they had so much security in Anaheim, it was nuts. So Jay was like, look, this ain't doing nothing for me. Because by the time Jay performed, it's like not too many people there. So he's like, this ain't doing nothing for me. I'm leaving the tour. So Puff was like, all right. He was like, well, I'm going to go lead the tour, and then I'm going to go shoot my video for Sunshine. So he convinced Foxy Brown to lead the tour. And she was getting good money, and she left the tour to go film the video, Sunshine, with Jay. Jay convinced her to leave. Because the money wasn't enough. One, the money wasn't really nothing for Jay. And Jay was like, this ain't doing nothing for my album. These people don't even know my album. I'm like, dude, you out there in a bulletproof vest, holding your guns up, shooting the audience. Holding your hand up like a gun, shooting the audience and rapping. It's like, dude, what are you doing? His stage presentation wasn't there yet. Jay was not... this is the wrong tour for you anyway. You know what I'm saying? And Buster told him, Buster was like, yo, you know what I'm saying, son? Yeah, you will. Well, one day, man, we gonna be doing this, man. You gonna be ripping it down. Buster was always up because Buster was on that tour doing his thing too. So now, after they do all this, he was like, yep, I saw that tour. Right. So after this, Dame is like watching all of this go down, materialize. And Jay left the tour. And he was like, you left that money to go make that video? Mm-mm. For that song? And he told him, don't put that song out. Dame told him, like, Dame, you making a mistake. Don't put that song out. And he put out Sunshine. And he's like, man, that almost killed Rockefeller Records, dog. He was like, we come out with this. And then he did The City Is Mine. And he was like, Dame was not feeling these records. He was like, you're not Mace. You're not big. You can't. They could do this. You can't do these records. These are not you. Like Where I'm From and stuff like that. Like those are the Jay-Z records that you can do. You know, like these are not your records, dog. You can't do this. Like the commercial hit, he couldn't make the commercial hit back then. He didn't know how. The hitman was trying to give him some, but he just didn't know how to rap to that yet. He wasn't schooled enough to make that transition. So Def Jam saw the record sales and was like, y'all had Puffy. Kevin, that's what I'm saying. Leor Cohen wasn't a Jay-Z fan when they met him. He wasn't like, oh man, this guy's the Messiah. He was like, you had Puffy produce the whole album, executive produced the album. He's the hottest thing in the world. And you can't sell 1 million fucking records. What do we sign you for? Like, he just basically threw the phone on the floor. And he was like, this y'all idea. That's what Dame was like, this y'all idea. If y'all don't let me make the album and do it our way, we would have had an album that sold 2-3 million records. Y'all wanted to put Puffy on everything. That's what you get. You get Sunshine. So right there, Dame came up with the idea to flip it around because they were going to get dropped by Def Jam. So as you notice, Streets Is Watching is not promoted by Def Jam. That is a Rockefeller production. What Dame Dash did saved them. He put out Streets Is Watching. He the one got up with Jay and said, we just basically gonna make videos of our own so that we can tell the story of what the album really is. So then we're gonna put out the Streets Is Watching mixtape, but for Rockefeller. And we got all our Rockefeller artists on there, and we're gonna just put out like a soundtrack for the movie Streets Is Watching. We're gonna put that out. That was the hottest thing on the streets. So before Paid in Full and all that, you had the Streets Is Watching. And this is what promoted Jay and got people to notice Jay-Z. And then the songs that he had on there and the videos they made and shot for Volume 1, like you should have did that. Imaginary Hustler should have been the lead single. Dame knew right away. So when they came and put that out, and then Jay was like, oh man, they got the Cristal bottles, you know what I'm saying? They doing it like players, like they gangsters, like they hustlers, they doing it for real. We get to see the visual to go with what you saying and rapping. Dame, credit to Dame Dash for that, because that was Dame's idea. Dame saw he made Jay hot again. Yeah, and now once that happened and Streets is Watching was hot, they was like, okay, volume 2, this was Jay's last shot. This don't happen, deal over, whatever. It's done. Volume 2 was the last shot Jay was gonna have. So Jay's like, that's why he got ahead of it and was like, I'm just gonna retire and write for Foxy Brown. that was it, because he couldn't get a deal, and Smooth the Hustler got the deal, and he was writing for Foxy as well. So she had 2 writers, and they was like, we like the songs he wrote. Smooth the Hustler, and Jay was like, for real? Over my songs? That was tough, boy. He hated Smooth the Hustler just because of that. Volume 2 is a collaboration. That's not even a Jay-Z, it's a compilation album. Jay-Z is only on 2 songs by himself. That is the least you've heard of Jay-Z on an album. That's why the album was successful. Because Jay-Z couldn't remember, he could not make those records. He didn't know how to make a commercial record. Ja Rule knew how to make a commercial record. Irv Gotti knew how to make a commercial record. So Jay got with Irv Gotti and them, and he started seeing DMX was the biggest thing in the world. He was like, man, let me get a song with X. Because X then blew up now. The album came out, X then destroyed everything. He the biggest thing going. And Jay wanted to have X on his record. Absolutely. Y'all getting the whole story here. Y'all should be very happy. Shouts out to my Patreons and everybody listening, dog. This is real spill. You getting a real story. So they heard the dude with the beat. Dame got the Hard Knock Life. The DJ kept playing that Hard Knock Life beat. Everybody here was bobbing doing the whole tour. It's a hard knock. It's a hard knock. And the dude, he was just a DJ. And Dame Dash went and bought that beat off of him that day. So Dame is responsible for Hard Knock Life. He went up there and secured the bag to get that beat from that dude. And was like, this is hot. And Jay thought it was hot too. Well, Jay was there. That is hard. But he was like, can you write to this? So he wrote to it and made it a hit. And this was supposed to be Jay's farewell album. He was just going to start writing for people. He was going to make Memphis Bleak a hot rapper because he's just going to write for him and get Bleak through the door. This was it. Jay was giving up after Volume 2. So he did the Ride or Die song, trying to mix it with DMX, and we're using Irv, Ride or Die or Ride or Die. He was trying to confuse the people to believe he was a Rough Rider. So he kept saying Ride or Die like DMX to confuse him, to make people go, hey, he's down with DMX. And the Rough Riders. So that's great. We get Jay-Z. Jay-Z's a Rough Rider. It's like he's not a Rough Rider. But he rode the wave. Jay knew how to get what he needed. He heard Ja Rule's first single that he was working on. Can I get a what to all of my business who go live? Oh. Jay knew right away he needed that song. He needed that beat. He needed everything that song was about. That was the lead single, not Hard Knock Life. That was the first one. Can I get a what to my niggas? He got on there and sung the hook and replaced Jay-Z. Replaced Ja Rule. And then he put Ja Rule on his own record. Like featuring Ja Rule. It's like featuring Ja Rule. The Ja was an up-and-coming rapper, but Ja could do hooks. And he could do the commercial records. Jay couldn't do any of that at that time. He didn't have any commercial hits. He just could rap. The only song he had was the Ain't No Nigga with Foxy Brown. And that just was a good, local record, but it couldn't cross over to dance clubs like Ja and them records was. So when Ja didn't even have an album out yet. He was working on his album. And he was working with Irv Gotti. And so Irv was helping him out with Volume 2. And every song on there is featuring another artist. It was like an okay record, but it didn't really do anything for him. It did more for Foxy than it did for Jay. Yeah, he took Ja Rule's song, Ja gave it to him, and that was it. Ja got on there, had a verse on the song. They kept one of Ja's verses, and that was it. So Jay had his first hit record. It was Can I Get a What? And Money Ain't a Thing was Jermaine Dupri's record, but it was a hit because that was a club record, but that was Jermaine Dupri. Because Jermaine Dupri don't make a club record. So in Atlanta, because Jay came out there to ATL to do the record. And when they shot the music video, that was when people got to see Jay do that. And that's how they had the Who You With and all that. Oh, yeah. Who You With? That was from the How to Be a Player soundtrack. So these were supposed to be the commercial records. They just really didn't go to the places like that song did. But Money Ain't a Thing got him there. He performed that with, he had that beat playing on this New York tour. But yeah, Money Ain't a Thing was it. I think he got like Hip Hop Quotable of the Month. I think Prodigy was upset about that. He got it for Money Ain't a Thing. You said Who You With was on the Sprung soundtrack? Oh, okay. My bad. I thought it was How to Be a Player. Yeah, so when you see things like that take place, everybody's gonna have their own opinions. That's just it. But I was like, I remember those times, so we was living through it. So once that became a hit and it sold like 4 million records because of the Annie song, and that's when Jay's ego took over. And his relationship with Dame was dead from that point on. Leora Cohen put an arm around him like, hey, Jay-Z. And that was it. They became peas in the pod. And the plan was in motion to get him away. Yeah, they had to get him away from Jay-Z. I mean, get him away from Dame Dash. Leor tried to be cool with Dame. Dame was just so extra that it was like, at first it was tolerable. Then he kept crossing lines till it got to, now you're messing it up. You know, now you like that thing going to Def Jam and doing that and putting it on tape. Now that's a problem. Because now you're messing with the authority we got in our place of business. Yeah, well, let's see what the people are going to come up with next after that. What's up, Outlaw? They never understand until it's over. Then by the time it's all over, no one understands any of it. Dame Dash had made a plan to produce movies. He was trying to do this earlier. He the one that brought in Armadale Vodka, saying, hey, we need to own our own bottles. You know, we fell out with Cristal. The owner saying he didn't make it for black people. So, all right, cool. You didn't make it for black people, good. We ain't finna have anything to do with you. That was straight up. And he was, no, we didn't mean it like that. Well, that's the way we took it. So now we don't want nothing to do with you. Man, these people didn't want anything, man. They weirdos, they bizarre, and people just, you know, they didn't understand the times. And Dame was trying to fight for power and position within the organization, and he was fighting with Def Jam as Jay got more distant and started building his own team. Now you got the people that kiss his ass and the people that said Def Jam, and then the people in the office, they listen to Dame because Jay don't run nothing in the office. He never tried to. Now he wants to try to run stuff in the office. Like have his people in there that he control. So slowly, all the Dame people started to be fired. And then Jay started firing people. I mean, Dame started firing all the Jay people. That's when the problems really took another direction. Like, how you gonna fire? How you gonna fire him? Yeah, Dame fired him. When they got rid of some of Dame's people, Dame came in and fired like a whole bunch of J people. Just jettisoned him. And Jay was pissed. He came in there and they had a meeting. I don't know what happened in the meeting. Dame could tell you what happened in the meeting, but all I know is some of them was back to work. So, but it was done from there. Like they were not brothers no more. Like the whole last album, Jay's finna retire and all of that. Dame was all cool with that. Jay finna retire. We finna Rockefeller finna just move to another direction. But he knew Jay was his brother when he told him after they completed their deal. That's why Jay made so many albums so quick. He was trying to get out of the deal so that they can get a better deal when they re-up and renegotiate. So he comes back with the Dynasty album right after Volume 3. Just sold like 3 million records. He follow that up with the Dynasty, which is supposed to be a compilation album, which it was, but it turned into another project. But Leor loves Jay at this point. Yeah, that's his guy. So he takes Jay to show him the business and how, what it is that he do, going to the radio station, meet with the executives, going into the meetings and letting them listen to the album so they can go out and promote it. And he's going from city to city. They flying. He's like, I just want Jay to see what this is like, pushing his own album and promoting it. And that was the Dynasty album. So when Blueprint came out right behind it, they had already, Jaden gave him, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 albums, not to mention soundtracks plus Memphis Bleak albums. That was 2 Benny Siegel albums. So they had reached their deal. They were at the end of their record deal. Blueprint was the last album in the deal. So after Blueprint, they was done. They had fulfilled the contract and it was time for a re-up. So now they renegotiated the deal and all of a sudden, here comes the big money. Jay didn't say nothing because Jay didn't want nothing to do with the clothing line to begin with. Dame was like, why are we wearing other people's stuff? We should be wearing our own stuff. Forget these clothing lines. We ain't doing like Nas and doing Esco. No, we get our own clothes. We're going to own Rockaware. We're going to have our own stuff. And he got that from Wu-Tang. Another thing, he saw what Wu-Tang was doing. He was like, man, Wu-Tang, man, he was like, they were smart. They'll be selling all this stuff in China. He's like, man, the bootleggers is making millions off Wu-Tang stuff. He's like, this dude got a Wu-Tang like African necklace. He's like, dude, that's the smartest thing in the world, dog. They get a logo. And that's what Dame was like, dude, the smartest thing you could do is get a logo and market your logo. It was like, they got that logo, the Wu-Tang logo. And he was like, I respect them because they hustlers. And that was Jay-Z making amends with Ghost and Capadon. By then, he was like, look, y'all are my guys, like Ghostface and Capadonna and Ray, like those are the guys he listened to. He was like, I listen to y'all mostly anybody in Wu-Tang. It wasn't really Method Man. It was really Ghost and Ray. Those were his guys and Capadonna. So those were the type of dudes he listened to because they was talking about the hustler. So that's what the part he was listening hard for, the hustler lyrics. Dame did something essentially well, and then he just went off the rails. Now, his whole thing now is bitter old man, but he brought up a very good point. Billionaires such as Jay should understand when you get a line of credit, that's what billionaires do. They got so much money that they don't have to put the money up for anything. They just get a line of credit. They don't go out and get a loan. They get a line of credit. Jay took a loan out. So that means he did not have the money to put up. All he had was his line of credit. Nah. They were never going to be in the game like how everybody else was thinking. They were never going to be those guys. They were never going to be essential people. Like in this game, they find a diamond in the rough. They said, Jay know how to make records now. He knows what he's doing. He don't need Dame Dash, and he don't need Biggs. Biggs ain't been needed since they've done the deal. And it was like, okay, you paid him back enough. When we do the re-up, we should be able to buy him out and get rid of Biggs because you paying him for what? And he was like, oh, no, I can't do that. So Jay was like, I can't do that to Biggs. So he told them the plan, and that's when Lior had to tell him, you don't ever tell somebody the plan. Then they bragged about it. Blueprint 2 come out, flops. Right after they re-up on the deal. Bad start. So you come out with a bad start. They had to put out another album called a Blueprint 2.1 to try to save it and salvage it because nobody's buying it. Ether came out and destroyed Jay. So now it's really over. I'm sorry. The last album they put out was the Jay-Z Live Unplugged. Sorry, that was what actually dropped. Yeah. So that was it, man. Like, really, then now you see Dame today, when they split up, they were all cool. And then once Jay saw him with Cam, it like lost and broke something in Cam. I mean, in Dame. And Dame just went nuts.
And I don't know why Stugotz thinks that those freestyles are dope. Like they're so like I don't know why he thinks he became such a spoken word poet. I don't get it. Those freestyles is garbage, man. They're not the same. They don't hit the same. Pause. They just don't. Like you can hear the crowd. It'd be like a mercy ooh, like but don't be like if you can't get the New York if you can't get the mic drop in New York, you ain't getting it nowhere.
Dame knows how to get under his skin, man. That's crazy. No, Dame is more embarrassed. You know, here it is. You messing with my wife. You know, that's one thing. Like, when has it been cool to sleep with a man's wife? You know what I'm saying? Mess up his he had $100 million business. Jay-Z messed up the whole art gallery. Jay-Z's wife, Dame's wife, and Dame had the art gallery. Next thing you know, Jay-Z the art guy now. Picasso, baby. And then he's messing with Rachel Roy, Becky with the good hair. And then it all goes left. Yeah, so it was like, dog, back in the days, we used to date chicks and everything else, but he really felt like that Aaliyah thing, like he took an L. Like I took an L doing the Aaliyah thing. And they was like, well, Dame Dash came and he kind of took an L. Yeah, because Dame wanted Aaliyah and he was trying to court her, and it was a lot of dudes trying to court her at the time. And she ended up choosing Dame Dash because she liked Dame. His personality was funny. So it made Jay look ridiculous. He was embarrassed. That's why he told Beyonce, "Don't you embarrass me." But he's always messing with younger girls because they more impressed with Flash because he ain't have any substance. Mm. Dame knows what he doing to the moment he don't. Like when he created the state property clothing line, he had the Armadale deal. Dog, they made hundreds of millions of dollars off of clothes. Dame knew what he was doing. But the Rockefeller thing, mm, well, I remember when American History X came out. Jay-Z went to go watch the movie American History X with Edward Norton. And he was like, "Oh, let's watch this American History X. It's great." Dame Dash thought the movie was bullshit. He thought it was a bullshit ass movie. And he was like, they gave the award to this American History X. And Jay was in there raving about the movie. Oh, it was incredible. And this and that with Leo Cohen and all of this. And it's like, oh, this was a powerful movie. And he knew Jay was gone. He was like, Jay's gone. Jay is gone. Yeah, they might not have watched it at the movie theater. I think they saw it on video cassette. but it was American History X, and Jay was raving over that. And he was like, this dude didn't even support my Paid in Full. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, Paid in Full is a classic, street classic from your people. And you in here raving about a racist ass Nazi. That should have told him right then and there what Jay was all about. How LL survived 5 decades of rapping? Easy. LL knew how to adapt to whatever the genre was because he can rap. He just he don't have the lingo because he's not in that frame. You know, LL came out in like 1985. So of course his lingo ain't gonna be there. So when he got with 50 Cent, he don't need 50 Cent to write for him. He was just like, I need this tuned up, with like words that y'all are using today. And he was like, oh, yeah. So he would fix it up, was like, yeah, I wouldn't say this word, just say this, just say that word. We do this word. He want to know the lingo that's on the street so he don't sound dated, like he's an old head. He was like, look, I don't want to sound like I'm a YN or anything, but I want to say some things that's relative to what everybody is saying. Mm, no. Jay-Z has never made a business deal that was legit. Everything was him riding a wave of something that already existed. So because it already existed, they were already connected to it. He got a liquor company, sold it. Got this, sold it for cash. Rockaware, got that from Dame, sold it. So Dame was in a position, they were able to cut him out of everything. The Rockaware, cut him out of that, cut him out of every single thing you saw moving. Yeah, man, you was gonna have some problems on your hands when it came to dealing with people who didn't get it or had a perception. When you got a perception of things to come and you're not somebody that actually knows what you're doing, you're going to forever be in a lose-lose scenario. Yep, absolutely, bro. Goddamn rabbits. Damn rabbits about to get shot. Somebody about to get popped. We got the new drums. Yes. Oh yeah, Dame's supposed to be building something in here. Dame is a smart man. He just can't. He finds a way to get in his own way. But now that he could do these art of dialogue things, oh, he loved it. Now he's being the chatty patty that he talked about. Remember, he said this was lame. Sitting around talking about other men. I mean, that's lame. Who does that? Oh yeah. So I ain't want to get into all that, but there you go. Good marketing for his projects. Yeah. How's everything going, Burundi? That's wonderful, man. Well, anyway, I'm finna get up out of here. Got a lot of stuff to do. Shout outs out to all of y'all. And we are out of here. Yeah.